Yeah. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good.
Can you just, I guess, tell us about Penn State, first of all? Obviously, you haven't seen them a whole lot because of the fact
Right.
they don't play a whole lot, but just what have you seen from them?
Well, obviously they're a very good team. You're taking, their games in December. They had a close loss against Michigan. They got a big against Illinois. Then Illinois came storming back and actually beat them pretty convincingly. But just that segment of the game, starting the game, had just how impressive they were. They went into Virginia Tech and beat them by 20 at their place and played really well. Defensively, did some really good things. And, they have a lot of guys that can handle the ball, drive the ball, and shoot it. And when you mix in, the physicality, the aggressiveness, the athleticism, and their just ability to disrupt you on the defensive end, but also cause a lot of problems with the way they can break you down off the dribble. And we saw last year in our game the way they can really heat it up and get hot and collectively, make a lot of threes.
There's- What sort of challenge will it be for your team defensively to have a lot of guys who can spread you out, who can attack off the dribble, but also can put a lot of pressure on your guards offense?
Yeah, it's a big challenge for us. We have a lot of respect for those guys. Obviously, they earned our respect last year with the way they played, but they play hard and they're aggressive. And when you have a lot of people that can shoot it and they spread you out, now being able to guard their action or contain the dribble, keep them out of transition, is the game. That's what it comes down to. If you're constantly playing from behind, then it's going to open up avenues when you have to overhelp, and you're going to put them to the free throw line too much. They're going to end up getting penetrating pitch threes, and you rarely ever catch up to that when you're dealing with good players.
It seems like your message to your team after the Indiana win was that going home finally doesn't guarantee us anything, that you still have to be
Right.
as, I mean, that was that sort of your message?
Yeah, it's always the message. You win a couple games on the road, and that's great. But you go home, nothing's guaranteed that you're going to win. Just like we've won those two games, somebody can come in here and beat us. So you have to go home, and you got to try to build off the success that you've had in the past week, and you want to keep it going. But we have to be better defensively more than anything. That's been my message. I didn't think we were very, very good other night defensively, and very fortunate that Indiana missed free throws.
What have Brandon and Mason collectively meant to your team's competitiveness, you think?
Well, obviously they help it, and both of them are just starting their careers and trying to learn the game, the nuances, our defensive rules. But at times everything doesn't piece together. But playing hard can fix a lot of your problems. If you have breakdowns and you just keep playing hard, at times you can recover. Other times you can't. But that's the remedy. If you don't play hard, you can do a lot of things right. If you don't play hard, it really doesn't matter. So you can actually struggle at some things. And if you go out there and lay it on the line and compete, you can have success. Now, obviously, you want to do both. You want to know what you're doing and know when to do it, how to do it, and then, have that competitive spirit. So, both of them have a good competitive spirit, and just trying to, learn from game to game and keep getting better.
When you recruited Mason, did you see him as this type of player, or did his ordeal in high school sort of change him at all?
No. This is what I saw from him in terms of the guy that could make threes, even though he hasn't been a consistent three-point shooter yet. But I think if he just needs to keep taking them, because he's when you go and work with him and you put in time, he's making 70 to 80% of them. And but I saw a guy that would compete and play hard, and it meant something to him. It means something to Mason, and it means something to Brandon. That competitive spirit, and basketball is important. And when you have those, elements about yourself, that leads to a lot of success.
I'm good. Thank you, Matt.
No
Mike?
problem.
Mike,
Hey, Matt, just kind of continuing with those two. I mean, is this what you thought you would get from these two after the redshirt year they went through last year and the seasoning they got in practice?
Yeah, well, you don't know, because you don't know that that you're going to have people depart your team. So that opens up a lot for other people like Zach Edey. That opened up a lot for him. would we have played bigger if Matt would have stayed? That's a possibility. I don't know. They were going to have to work that out in terms of how they played and how productive they were in practice and things of that nature. But things also happen for a reason, and that was, it's really helped out Zach's development. It's helped out Mason's development. It's helped out Brandon's development. Like, there's more opportunities for guys to play. A coach feels comfortable with people that have done it before and had success with them. They just do. And so, like, younger players, that's why you see across the country, like, some young guys don't play yet. They haven't got to that point where they've earned that trust. But if you get into a situation where you're needed, that's what you want. That's why the red shirt's so good for guys. They get to wait. They get to take their time. They get to learn. They're not in the big hurry to go nowhere, because a lot of times when you don't know what's going on, you're not going to play well. Well, when you're red shirt and you get into these situations and now you know a little bit, you're still learning, but you know a little bit, and you're not like a true freshman. So, we looked at them to do things, but they also had to get into practice and beat people out. And, and both of those guys have, stayed the course and been pretty competitive and, done some good things.
Does Mason need to create a hustle play to get him going, or is that just part of who he is?
I think that's just kind of who he is in terms of making those plays and hustle. But just getting them to understand what we're doing is really the key with any of our young guys. And that's where we break off. We had a lot of situations the other night where we had guys just simply not doing their job, still playing pretty hard, still doing some things, scrapping for the ball, but we're just putting ourselves in a lot of tough scenarios defensively. Just had way too many breakdowns.
Where would you like to see some improvement Sunday defensively?
Just containing the dribble more than anything. I think anytime you get into ball screen defense and staying into the ball and keeping things bottled up, but just when you face, you got to know your personnel. Is he a 3-point shooter? Is he a driver? Is he both? We just had too many opportunities where the ball got to the rim. So with that, you got to be able to contain the dribble. You got to be in gaps. You got to play good post D. Just keeping the ball out of the paint first and foremost.
And just with Penn State, is there a little bit more of an unknown with them because you don't know exactly who will be available to play Sunday?
Not as much as that. Is just that, like, what team's gonna come popping out of here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what you see sometimes with teams, they go and they're up and down. They find themselves, they're trying to get that stability. Is this a team that's going to have a lot of rust for being off, or is it like that team that's going to be excited to play, like the first game of the season, to where they have a lot of energy and they're all connected and ready to roll. And we got a lot of respect for them. And Coach Ferry's done a good job, with these guys. And but just the kind of season they had last year and the way they played and the way they competed and the way they came into Mackey Arena and manhandled us. That's for us, if you can't respect them after that, then you're not paying much attention. So I guarantee our guys got a lot of respect for them, and we got to be ready to play.
Just the background of how the Ohio State game got moved to Tuesday, and are you still waiting to see where that Nebraska game may fall?
Yeah, they have not done anything yet. They have not confirmed where they're going to put that. So we're just kind of waiting in the balance to see how everything goes before they have a good idea where it can go, but obviously they're had another pause. So I think they're just waiting on that to see the particulars of that for that game to be placed. But by me saying where it possibly could go would just be speculation, and that wouldn't be right, because it could change. There's no it's final to really discuss it.
Yeah, but just kind of moving that Ohio State game to where it's at is, created a different situation for you guys too.
Yes. Yeah, but it's part of it. It's we understood that a lot of these things are going to happen, and you can be on the tail end of some things. And for us, getting 4 straight road games, and 5 out of 6, in this stretch right here, road games. But it's part of it. At the end of the day, We think we're going to get 10 home games. We think we're going to get 10 road games and leave. That's how it's scheduled, and that's the way it'll end up. And so, you just got to take the good with the bad.
You might get all 10 road games at once.
No question, no doubt.
All righty, thank you.
Matt, hey, one more for me real quick. That stretch in the first half, Indiana really seemed to crank up its pressure on your guards. That kind of led to some of the turnovers there. What do they need to do better there? Is it attacking it? Is it being more, is it keeping a cooler head? What's kind of the solution to kind of situations like that?
Just handle some basic pressure and pass and catch. Like, you go back and watch a film, and sometimes it's hard. People don't quite understand this, but sometimes when you're watching the game, I don't always watch the ball. And so a fan always watches the ball. And I'm watching other things. And then all of a sudden the ball will squirt free or something. And you're like, what happened here? What's going on? You ever seen coaches turn to the bench and say, well, what the hell happened? And people are like, why aren't you watching? That's what I always would say before I coach. Why are you asking them? Because that coach isn't watching the basketball. He's watching other things around them. See, we know what we're running. So I'm just seeing if we're executing what we're doing and seeing if we're screening and seeing if we're doing it. And then all of a sudden the ball just gets thrown, and all of a sudden you're like, what happened? And so we had 2 or 3 of those moments in the first half. At that time, you go back and watch tape, and it's just guys not handling simple pressure, just triple threat, protect the basketball. And when you catch the basketball, square up, see your goal, protect the basketball, be strong, have vision, know what's going on. We are on offense, and we, called the play, so you know what's going. You know where the ball is going to go. You don't necessarily are going to throw it to your teammate. You're going to throw the ball away from the defense, but you got to read all that. You got to gauge that. That's happening 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a possession, every possession, your whole life. So when guys are out there making those kind of mistakes, they got to come. They got to sit down. They got to come out. If you can't sit there and pass and catch and handle some basic things, what's the point? And that's what we did. We just tried to get some new guys in there, and when they did those things, and when you go back and watch tape, it's just, just have some discipline. Handle some basic pressure. They weren't running and jumping. They didn't have 3 people on them, So I don't have an answer for that one.
I'm good. Thanks, Matt.
Even though I answered you, I don't have it.
You had words.
That's all they are. Just all right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.